I sort of lost my interest in computers. I thought it was boring. So I decided, yes, I'll get into automobile design. And I looked for the path to get into that. And the major universities don't offer a bachelor's in that. And inside India, there's not much scope. Not everybody is hiring. I sort of half prepped for JEE. And when it came to, the end of 12th, around September time, I sort of realized I don't want to do engineering. This is not for me.
So we have with us somebody who has cracked the 2023 Uceed examinations. He's very much into explorations, and some of his hobbies include drawing and also into cricket. But today we're going to discuss about how actually he's arrived at design and how he has sort of figured out his way out to crack Uceed 2023. Hello Vismay.
Hello.
So we'll start with your background. So how was it like? Whom do you have at your home? What was your childhood like? Can you start with that?
My childhood?
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Like, for example, what were your major hobbies?
So, I used to do a lot of craft stuff. I used to play with Lego.
Okay.
I used to do origami. I still do origami. And drawing in general of cars.
How did you stumble upon things like this? Like, was there any, focused attempt by your parents to give you all these things? Any classes that you attempted, or YouTube, online?
Yeah, I used YouTube and online stuff. My dad used to send me links for origami, right? And when there were like art competitions, not art competitions, craft stuff, we had origami contests. So that's how I got into origami, sort of to win that.
So who were some of the YouTubers that you used to watch?
I don't remember those that I used to watch.
Okay.
You can probably find them if you Google simple origami stuff. Now I watch Joe Nakashima.
Okay.
Right? He does simple origami and complex stuff. He does everything. So it's really good. It's a really good channel if you're looking to get into origami, or if you're into origami already and are looking for harder stuff.
Okay. So that's like a level up. Okay. Let's talk about 11th and 12th. Like, that is a phase, or probably post class 10th. No, that's the phase wherein you decide upon your career. How was your journey? So
in 10th, I took science because I thought I liked computers. So I thought I'll go with computers. And then when computer classes started, and it was also COVID time, no? So I didn't really like classes at all. I used to do other stuff in classes. And I sort of lost my interest in computers. I thought it was boring, and I thought that there wasn't much to do, nothing interesting. And then I thought, I'll do JEE, I'll get into mechanical engineering because it had cars and I like cars and bikes. And so I sort of half prepped for JEE. And when it came to, the end of 12th, around September time, I sort of realized I don't want to do engineering. This is not for me. And at that time, I was also doing CAD modeling. I was in a community of engineers and people from a lot of fields. There was sort of a Discord server called Avalon, right? And there I met engineers, designers, and a bunch of people. And they told me about how their work went, what they did. And I started doing 3D modeling and all for fun, since I had so much free time. And around that time, that was when I think Uceed and NID registrations were closing. And my dad was telling me to write every entrance exam there is, because to not be limited to JEE, KEAM, all that. So I wrote the IM exam, I wrote Uceed, NID, all that, and JEE. And I liked Uceed and NID. I thought, yes, I can do this, because I already like cars. I care about the way they look more than, mechanical parts and all that. So I decided, yes, I'll get into automobile design. And I looked for the path to get into that. And the major universities don't offer a bachelor's in that. And inside India, there's not much scope. Not everybody is hiring. So I thought I'll do industrial design first. And it's not so bad. And look, it's great. And I like it. So I think I'll do that first and decide later on what I want to do.
So, but when you're talking about class 12,
12.
yeah, how did you arrive at CAD modeling? Like, I want to know your journey. So you might have obviously joined Discord just for fun, right? So how did you arrive at?
My friend recommended this server to me. That's the whole reason I got Discord.
Okay.
Because at that time I liked computers and all, and mechanical stuff.
Okay. That was the route that you took. Okay.
So I thought I'll do CAD modeling just for fun, and then I started designing tools and all for myself. They don't really look good now in retrospect, but it was fun for me, and I realized this is what I want to do. I want to create stuff.
I think that's quite interesting perspective, right? To travel the path that you are passionate about, or to travel in that path that you are interested in, and to end upon something like this, so that you can use things that you're interested in and make a career out of it, right? Okay. But what happened to your drawing, origami and things like that in class 11th?
I was doing it all the time.
Okay.
Like while I was doing this, I was doing this side by side.
Okay.
I didn't really think about it because it's something I always did.
Okay. So you wrote UC 2022. Your class 12th is complete. Your result comes out. What happens then?
I see I get a rank of 700 something.
Okay.
I don't really know what that means. So I think maybe I'll go to Jabalpur. But I didn't apply for the counseling because then I looked at the seat matrix and there are not, there's like what, 100, less than 100 seats for general.
Jabalpur was way out of league. Okay.
And then NID results came and I didn't qualify for that also.
Okay.
So my initial plan was to go to some college, some private college, spend a year there, and by the end of this, by the end of the first year, when Uceed 2023 comes, I'll write that, and if I can move to another college, I will. My parents were initially sort of, you can't do this side by side, and then they started calling contacts they knew that were in design, right? And one person who was studying MDes, he told me, since I have one more attempt and 1 year to do it, I should take the chance instead of studying at a sort of mediocre university when I can get into better ones already.
Point blank, blunt, okay.
Go all out. And I did. Initially I thought I'll do it on my own, I won't go to coaching and all, but my parents wanted me to not fumble this year, since this is my last chance. And they told me to enroll in some coaching institute. My friend was studying here, and that's how I got to here.
Okay. So let's talk about that last 1 year journey of yours. You focused on just two, or NIFT was also there in your...
No, I never thought about NIFT. I don't like fashion.
That's quite clear. Okay. So NIFT, so NID and Uceed is what you're focusing upon. Okay. Okay. So when you're coming to think, okay, you have an experience of writing Uceed and qualifying, right? So did you have any particular strategies per se, or was it like you went with the flow of the class?
No, I thought you THiNC would have programs to study and all. So I thought, yeah, I'll listen to what the teacher instructor says. I will go with the flow.
So what were you learning from your first attempt, like UC 2022?
I thought I'll improve my drawing. That's what some of my friends who wrote Uceed said. They went for coaching last year. And they told me, if you want to improve your drawing and you don't do it on your own consistently, go for coaching. That was one of my first concerns for coaching. I was thinking, I'll come here and improve drawing first.
Okay.
It helps in both NID and Uceed.
Okay. Let's dig down a little bit more into that. you are somebody who used to draw during your childhood or school days, right? So, what was the difference? Like when you look back at it now, when you used to do it as a hobby and when you have to do it specifically for an exam like Uceed or NID, what's the difference?
So in an exam, you're not drawing because you want to. You don't have inspiration or anything like that. When I'm drawing at home, I draw because I want to. When I'm in the mood, I'm drawing stuff I like. And I don't usually draw Uceed scenarios. I don't draw human figures, all that. So when I wrote Uceed for the first time, it was sort of something I never used to draw before.
It was a scene drawing question.
Scene drawing.
Okay.
And I didn't know what perspective was. I knew what perspective was. I didn't know how to use it.
Okay.
And I drew, and I didn't read the question right. I drew it from somebody else's
perspective.
point of view. And human figures in general was messed up. So it looked very sloppy.
Let's talk about how your journey was at THiNC. So you are somebody who has written 2022. You had a lot of things in your mind when you're talking about 2023 Uceed, right? So what were some of the major improvements that you could see, or what were some of the things that were extremely helpful while you were at THiNC?
I think the stuff that helped me the most is time drawing, and that helped me draw way better, and it helped me sort of compose my drawings better. Before, I didn't think about composition and all. I would just draw. Now I think about it, half-planned drawings, and it's way better than before. Drawing is what I improved the most at THiNC.
Okay, so let's talk about arithmetic and logical also. Any particular strategies that you had applied for arithmetic and logical?
No, it's sort of doing puzzles. You know, if you enjoy puzzles and you like solving them, doing them will sort of help you sort of understand that most questions have sort of a lot of common ideas behind them, right? So doing puzzles will help.
Okay. How was this year's examination? Can you just take us through when you were sitting in the examination hall, like those 3 hours? Any plans? Anything that you had prioritized you will do first?
I thought I'd do MCQ first. No, I thought I'd do NAT first, and then MSQ, and then MCQ. Because I thought MCQ would be the toughest. And I did NAT. I skipped a lot of questions. I did MSQ. I skipped a lot of questions. And MCQ was the easiest. I thought it would be the hardest. And MCQ was fine. I felt the same way that I felt when I was writing the exam last year. You know, no change. I thought the result would also be similar. And MSQ was tougher, I think, this year. For me.
Okay.
Right, and I skipped a lot more this year as well. Because last year I was attempting a lot of questions. I was sort of like, don't skip anything. You can get this right. This year I sort of thought better. I thought intelligently and skipped a lot. There were some questions that I could have gotten right, but it's okay.
So Uceed is an exam that has negative marking also, right? So that sort of strategy affects the marks also, right? A lot, like taking it quite personally or to your ego and saying that you will solve those questions, and finally ending up in getting negative marks. Okay, so I think one of the key learnings is probably to have that flexibility while you're writing the exam to decide on which one, how many questions to attempt, how many questions not to attempt. To basically decide upon while you are in the examination hall, rather than having a fixed mind of I'll write this many questions before you're going. And how was the drawing part for this year? Like, what was the difference from your 22 attempt and 23 attempt?
Well, this time I used perspective better, and I wrote the question from the correct point of view. But this year I also missed an element, right? But overall the drawing was okay. Not great, but not terrible also.
Okay. So the first round allotments have come for this year, and where have you gotten?
I got Guwahati.
Okay. So that I understand is your second preference, and your dream college is obviously IIT Bombay.
Yeah, or NID Ahmedabad.
Okay. Assuming that you get into NIT Ahmedabad, what would you pick?
I don't know. People have been telling me, and some people tell me NIT is better. Those who study at NIT, those who passed out from IIT Bombay tell me that Bombay is better. So it's hard to choose. Maybe I'll decide. It's not a problem yet.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, obviously. Okay. So, so are you looking for like specializations to do if you're getting into NIT Ahmedabad? It's going to be specializations, right? So any picks that you have in your mind?
I'm hoping I'll get industrial design.
ID, okay. And you are somebody who has kept Bombay, then Guwahati, and probably then Delhi. Any thought process that has gone behind it?
Well, my dad doesn't want me to go to Delhi because the air is bad and I have breathing issues sometimes.
Oh, acha, okay.
So that's why Guwahati is second and Delhi is third.
Okay, it's more from a physical point of view that you've decided on Bombay and Guwahati. Okay, great. And I don't know if it's way too early to ask a question like this, but still I'm going with the flow. So what are your future plans?
Go to college, figure it out there.
So you're sort of open there to try things out there rather than fixing upon this is what you have to do. Okay. And I think it also makes sense because you're somebody who's explored a lot and arrived at design, I think. You've taken your route through designing, drawing, then JE, Paper 1, Keem, and then you've arrived at design or Uceed. Great. So when I talk about NIDs, any particular reason why you want to get into NID? Have you done any sort of comparisons about IIT and NID? Anything that you have in your mind?
I talked to students who study there and I've looked at their course, and it seems like they have two different philosophies, two different styles. NID is more arty and IIT seems more technological because it's at an IIT. And one guy from NID got into Ferrari. So that's another reason to want to get into the NID, but it doesn't really matter, because it's about your portfolio, the work that you do.
Rather than the college that you're getting into. Okay. It's your work as a designer that matters. Okay. So I think it's been quite an interesting journey, right? From doing craft or 3D modeling, then you have moved to drawing. So you've sort of pursued your hobbies, then you have taken up computer, and then you've focused on JE Paper 1, then on Keem, and finally you've taken the route of designer.
Right.
So it's been quite an interesting journey. We genuinely hope that your future endeavors would be as challenging and interesting. And we hope that you get to do something that you're really passionate about, just like how we have been doing for the last few years. So it's an all the best from my side and also from the entire family of THiNC. And until we see in the next session of Ask the Topper, it's thank you from Suraj and THiNC Institute of Design.